I see you're not so far from the National School of the Arts in the Johannesburg CBD, so that means you're not too far from the mayor's office. Do you know exactly who will receive the memorandum by Soweto residents?
At this point, Masego, the leaders had told us that the mayor was going to be the one that's going to be receiving it. But of course, that remains to be seen. But I just want to give you a walk so you can see what's happening here. Now, this is some of the Soweto force, we understand, and they've been parading, they've been marching here, they've been in the forefront, also emphasizing on that high morale, high discipline, which we keep hearing. But what's interesting in the forefront, Masego, is that we have kids. Most of these kids are what Phalatse was speaking about earlier on when he was speaking about the fact that a lot of kids are affected and that they cannot go to school. Some of them then are these kids that they're saying that they are personally affected, but of course they can't speak to us without the presence of their parents, as you know. But a lot of people coming out. Interestingly, we're also here seeing some of the Dudula shirts here, and people that we have seen in the Dudula marches are also present here. But Masego, they are emphasizing, a lot of residents have told us that this has been such a hard time for them. Not having electricity has been very difficult, and so this is why they are now marching. And I want to bring in some of the leaders, because most of the leaders are now behind as they allow the young people to take over. And I want to bring in some of the Soweto leaders. So far, are you feeling like this march is going to give you what you really ache for?
Yeah, like much of Soweto resident through Soweto Parliament, we always tell people shall govern. Because now, ntwela uchisa mataire go ka si urobe di roboto a ispan. Re try bontsha batho if o striker no re lwanela re batla Phalatse akere. Ke ena re batla re jwetse ka mtlakase. A re chise mataire go kasi. Re lata ena Phalatse mo Bramfontein re tswa kasi. And about Bakasi Babango, I can about ba location in Bako Soweto. Abana transport, Rababanga, Shabak but Babakana Juan. The way about Bautong Botokukating, Arnam Takasi, House Nam Takasu Toralura Diju. This thing AR to Parabata Bonta, but Baba Dutunko Dimu, Badukodi, Ba Sepedisadi Ekon. Hauchi sakos mchakas banalona ronarna eko narna anything arna mchakas arna dijo. It's fine today. Remo rebatao bona rebatao kena kodi ekoni nzabum Phalatse.
All right, Baba. If
dollar rebatao futumala.
Baba mangavenge kumpo to receive that memorandum. Nizo wenzajan.
Mpo asio. I abetora abeting. Kita tilam sebeti ritleka ase off ase holiday, which is what do check morita bona anter walofa authanta hopole Phalatse o sebeletsa rona ke boy ke le goala Phalatse ke le goala la Ramaphosa re a khutla le ka taba ya after this one re batla o tseba ka petrol.
All right.
We come into your Ramaphosa.
All right.
It's unacceptable, and we can't hide it. We are coming.
All right. Well, clearly put there, Masego, they're saying that they do expect that the mayor is going to be there to receive this memorandum. They're saying that as the people shall govern, and therefore they've come here to speak to Mpo, and Mpo must take them seriously. Dr. Phalatse must take them seriously, and that's what they want to see. He speaks about how it's been so difficult without electricity. He says people are in pain by the difficulties that they have been faced with. But I want to bring in another guest here from another organization in Soweto. Baba, please introduce yourself and tell us, do you feel that you are going to get what you're looking for today?
Yeah, morning. Yeah, Kamala Musashi, the president of Operation Kalamtoana, yala yenzi ne Soweto Parliament. Jongo uwazi sisi Nqobile ukuthi Soweto umphakathi wakhona ukhala nge-electricity ezisoshima memorandum ku-Dr. Mpo. I wish ukuthi simthole akhona ukuziresponda ngoba almost indawo eziningi eSoweto azina-electricity, and siwisha ukuthi ikhalo zethu asithathe.
Manje baba, njengoba uthi nje uzelele organization iqhamuka kephi nendawo neSoweto, and ba-affecteke kanjani labo bantu baseSoweto laba enikhulumela noma nimele bona?
Nami ngimember yomphakathi waseSoweto, ngiphuma 80 proof. bengi-organization movement savusa ikhala mntwana ngoba ikhala mntwana ihamba ne-community ezumbona lo sisi maybe uyamazi umazela somewhere ya iyasa-affecta sonke ezumphakathi ngoba abantu bomphakathi abaningi ba-ignorant and abanama-connection yikho thina umphakathi sibanceda ukuthi izinto ifezeke bese uyisha ukuthi ngabe singathatha abantu besikhomba ulight esowethu manje into esiyifunayo.
Alright. And eDeep Kloof kwenzakalani baba?
eDeep Kloof ezi abantu bakhona bakhala eDeep Kloof most indawo eDeep Kloof azinagesi yikho size la so supporta iSoweto Parliament uLux as i-president yethu we remember ukuthi uLux wolwela abantu ngogesi yikho uLux isumthanda
ugesi kuphela baba ongekho
ya ugesi kuphela ya ugesi ne-crime but manje sizele indaba zogesi angeke sihlangahlanganisa izinto.
All right. No, thank you very much there. Well, as you can hear there, Maseko, they're saying the emphasis is, of course, in the fact that there's no lights. The gentleman says he comes from Deep Kloof. Now, you remember that we've spoken to quite a number of people, and they come from various parts of Soweto, some of them even coming from Naledi. He's coming from Deep Kloof, others from Pimville. But, I mean, they're united in the problem and understanding that they don't have electricity. Some of them even saying, going as far as explaining that they've paid for that certain amount of money that is expected, but no electricity has been brought back to them. As you can hear the gentleman saying that what they hope for more than anything is that they get the engineers to go back to Soweto with them to light up these areas that haven't had electricity for some for months, some for years. But of course, it does continue. We are seeing some of the people as they walk to Phalatse's office. We understand that they are going to deliver that memorandum that explains all the problems that they are faced with.
All right, so Nqobile Madlala in the Johannesburg CBD. Let's in fact bring in Heidi Giokos, who is with other residents of Soweto also making their way to the mayor's office. Heidi, give us an update of what's going on where you are. It looks a little empty.
Yes, it is empty, Maseko, because we are standing outside the mayor of the city of Johannesburg and Phalatse's offices. We are expecting the crowd where Nqobile is to make their way here. What we do understand, I'm going to just perhaps take a walk. I think they're still far away, but we do know that they are indeed making their way here. What's interesting, though, and I think it's important to highlight, Maseko, is the fact that there are many questions about why they've decided to march to the offices of the mayor of the city of Johannesburg when the city is not in control of the electricity of Soweto. It's Eskom that is in control. When we spoke to residents earlier on, we were told that they have decided to rather go to the offices of the mayor instead of Eskom because they feel as though Eskom can never give a solution and never really listens to their issues. We've heard allegations of many residents who claim that Eskom comes in and switches off their electricity without engaging with the community. So this becomes a very big problem for residents because they feel as though nobody's really listening to them. So they've decided to come to the mayor. As you can see, the visuals that my colleague Giokos is showing you at the moment, it seems as though the protesters could possibly be coming up this particular road straight to the offices of the mayor. It seems as though they're quite ready, the mayor's office that is. They have set up a stand there for the mayor to receive the memorandum. High police presence, Maseko and JMPD, and I think the reason for this is possibly because what we do know is that they will be they're trying to, of course, control the situation should anything spiral out of control. I'm not sure how much time we have, Maseko, but I just want to add on an issue that we do know speaks to the fact that a report was actually written by the University of Johannesburg calling it electricity racism. And the reason why this report has come out about electricity racism is because Soweto is one of the townships that's subjected to load reduction and not load shedding. So they will not have electricity for over 10 hours a day, depending on the schedule of Eskom, because Eskom is trying to reduce electricity consumption in Soweto because of the massive debt burden that Eskom is facing because many of the residents in Soweto do not pay electricity. On the other hand, you have residents constantly saying that they will not pay for electricity because majority of the time they don't have electricity, but also because they cannot afford it. We've heard many elderly people, Giokos, telling us that they don't have money to pay 500 Rand per household for electricity. But of course, Eskom needs to provide the service, but also needs to be paid for the service that's being provided. So it's quite a conundrum and it's quite a difficult position that Eskom finds itself in, but residents want none of it. They want electricity supply and they cannot often afford that fixed rate that Eskom has put on the table for electricity to be supplied to many of the residents.
All right, Heidi, Giokos in the Joburg CBD. Earlier we also had Nqobile and Madlala. They are covering that electricity crisis protest by Soweto residents who are, of course, making their way to Phalatse's office in the Johannesburg CBD.